Hey, this is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure to bring you these videos. It's now February 4th. If you've been watching the channel, I've been talking a lot about GameStop and investing in GameStop and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not into that sort of thing, but I have owned GameStop in the past, and that's all over with. Let's talk about how to get product to feed your existing business that you have. So you have an at-home business and you're selling product on major platforms like eBay or Amazon. You have to go through a 5 or 10 step process. So I'm going to take you through my 5 or 10 step process. Let's go through the 10 steps. Where do I get my product? And it doesn't matter what your category is. So I'm going to use my analogy and you can interpret it into what you want. I'll give you some other examples of other businesses I've been in besides technology. So number one, decide on the category that you want to work on. I've decided on computer and computer related products. That's number one. Decide on the category. I want to put that up on the screen. Number one, what is the general category? A general category was I want to be in the wine business. That's a general category. I want to be in the automobile business, accessories. I want to be in the athletic footwear business. It's a huge category. This is hundreds, thousands of items. So we have to chunk it down, which means we have to refine it into more of a niche. And you have to decide what that niche is. It's up to you to make that decision on which way you want to go. So my general category is computers and related items, which would be accessories. Okay, number one. Number two, I have to decide, am I going to be in a brand name category or am I going to create my own product? I'm not going to create my own product, and I don't want generic items because there's a lot of no-name products. Mike Addis laptop or Mike Addis MA computer company, and I'm going to call it the MA tablet. I'm not going to create a product. You can get tons of generic products that are copies and knockoffs if you want to go to China, Alibaba, whatever. No, I want to deal in big brand name products. Number one, computers and related accessories. Number two, big brand name products. Okay, I want to chunk it down to the third category. The third category niche, I'm making it smaller, okay? Third category niche I want to be in is I want to decide I want to be a new or used product. In my opinion, and based on my years of experience, like 40, 35 years in the business, I want to go to used product. So number three, I brought it down to another niche category. It's going to be used product. Why? There's a lot more profit in it, and I'll go in and explain this as the video goes on. So now I've got used product, computers, related items, big brand name, used. Now I want to chunk it down to the fourth category. I want to do mobile devices, which means tablets or phones. You get that? So those are the top four categories. I've chunked it down all the way from the big one down to the fourth category, which are mobile devices, and that would be primarily tablets. Big brand name, used tablets. You could take other categories like athletic footwear. I want to deal in big brand name athletic footwear. I want to deal only in Nike, and I want to only deal in used shoes or new shoes. Those are your four categories. That's how I've broken it down for myself. Now I've got my category. I want to find the product so I can feed the company. So yesterday, for example, I have accumulated a list of about 20 different suppliers. They come and they go. I can't buy directly from big companies because big companies want to sell to other big companies that do the processing and the tens of thousands of square feet and hundreds and thousands of employees. So they want to sell to them because they clean the product. They don't want their technology on the street without everything being cleaned or hard drives being removed or whatever. I am not in the business of hiring hundreds or thousands of people and tens of thousands of square feet with 20 warehouses. I leave that to the other guy. Let him make that money and go through the headache. I just want to sit here in my house, in my office, overlooking the ocean, smell the ocean breeze in Southern California, and I want to make $50,000 to $100,000 a month, which is what I'm bringing in. Okay, that's the purpose of the video. So now I want to hunt around for products. So the people that bring in the used technology that I want are usually recycling companies, W2 certified companies, e-cycling companies, they have all kinds of names, or ITADs. ITADs would be, don't ask me for the abbreviation, they're the 20 or 30 guys out there that buy from Dell or Lenovo or Microsoft. They're special, big people with all kinds of licenses and certifications. I want to get my product from them. A big iPad I used to buy from was Arrow, but they closed the division down. So I bought millions of dollars from Arrow Electronics used computer division. They were the recycling king at one time. Then they closed the shop down and got out. Shame, you know, it lasted for as long as it lasted. So I have to hunt around looking for those people. Well, how do I find them? Just go Google it. Who are the biggest e-cyclers in the world? Who are the biggest recyclers in the world? If you're looking at shoes, you want to look at who are the big wholesalers, or who are the biggest jobbers, guys that go into Nike and Reebok and they buy huge quantities because they've been doing it for years and years and years, and so you want to go to them and get the product from them. You might want to hunt around on eBay and Amazon because sometimes you'll find giant lots because the guys don't want to go through the hassle. I do not use auctions. I want to go direct, and I want to deal direct. I do not want to go to B-Stock Supply. So B-Stock Supply is a platform that people go to, or Tech Liquidators. Tech Liquidators liquidates all of Best Buy products. I don't buy directly from them. I used to sell through them, but they got rid of all the resellers like myself. They didn't want to hassle because they had too much of their own product. And so they were cut off. So it's a constant trial and error to get product. Now I've lined up 10 or 20 or 30 guys. I'm focusing on them. They're giving me lists every day. I get lists in today. I've got like 10 lists in. But I want to still stay in my category. And the problem is my category is a smaller niche category. So if I do desktops or laptops, it's a much broader number because it's just these are big, heavy items. I don't want to get big and heavy items in here. So that's the number 5 thing I'm thinking about: freight. Okay? So freight is an important thing of bringing the product in. Then I want to sell it free freight because everyone's selling free freight. So I don't want to bring in 20 or 30 pound items. I want to bring in 2 or 3 pound items. It's purely for storage reasons. I have 600 square feet in which is really my little mini warehouse attached to my house, which I call a garage, but I use it as a mini warehouse. And then I have other warehouses in Northern California and Irving, Texas, or Dallas, Texas, which are warehouses that I use if I have big purchases like truckloads or pallets, multiple pallets. 1 pallet or 2 pallet I can bring right in here, and I can process the product here. If I don't have the storage, when I moved from Texas back to California, back in California, I rented a place in a small apartment, and then ended up buying the house after a certain period of time. So I use storage areas. So you can rent the storage if you have a shortage of space. If you're dealing in small devices like mobile devices, you can use a room like this, which is about a 250 square foot office space, and you can store your product here. I could put $250,000 in just a little area like this if I'm dealing in phones. When I get certain suppliers, I want to get on their lists so I can get their lists all the time. I have maybe 20, 30 lists coming in every week, sometimes more. Every week of people that I have accumulated that will send me their list, and I look at the list and I decide whether I want to talk up to them about the product or not, whether I'm interested or not. And then I want to negotiate. When I go to negotiate my price, I need to get a market value. We've talked about this many times before. Market values is what everything's selling for. So if I'm going, as Lenovo just sent me directly, Lenovo, the big computer company, they send me a big list of stuff all the time, and I want to go and see what product is selling for on the market, and usually I go to eBay. That's the number 1 place that I look for market values because they give history of what was sold. Amazon does not. So if the average item is selling for $100, I want to buy it for $50 or less. I want to get it 50% below the market value. That's the norm. If I can get it for 25%, why? Because if I'm going to resell it on the platform, it's going to cost me 10 to 15%, including freight, to sell it out. So that's my profit margin. So if it's a $100 item, it's going to cost me $15. So I'm only making $85 if I sell the item. If I'm in at $50, I'm going to make $35. So I'm going to make a pretty significant return on my investment, $35 on a $50 bet. That's like 75% or whatever it comes out to. This is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me. I hope you got some information out of that. Say, so where do I get these people? Well, once again, you want to Google the information, and then over time you develop the list. There's a list out there of recyclers, for example, for computers like 1,500 or 2,000. I used to send them to people if they asked for me, but I never kept up on editing it. So it's a constant search for product. unless you want to be in the new business, so you can sign up with the new guys like major distributors like Ingram Micro, for example. So Ingram Micro is the largest distributor of computers in the world. I can buy direct from them. The only problem is there's a lot of guys going into manufacturers and buying the stuff for less, so you can't even get the product on a regular basis because the manufacturers are always shuffling stuff out the back door to big guys that buy $500,000 or $1 million every month or week. That's the problem when you're a little guy. You have to deal with the circumstances that you're small. And so then you have to kind of work that list every day. The key to your success in this business, if you're reselling other people's big brand name products and you've chunked down the category, in my particular situation is mobile devices, the key to my success is to continue to look for product to feed the engine that I have. Every day it has to be fed. More products coming in. I sold $10,000 worth of product the other day. I think it's $5,000 worth of computer tablets yesterday. I bought $7,000. So I sold a chunk, wholesaled a chunk out, and I bought a chunk coming in. So it's constantly turning. Don't forget to ask questions and comments. I'd be happy to answer all the comments. We love the comments, especially if they're controversial. If you have ideas, please let me know what those ideas are, and I'm happy to answer all the emails. And don't forget to hit that subscriber button. This is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me today, February 4th. Keep on trucking. Don't forget to conserve your cash. Only spend it on things that you really need, and more importantly, to continue to buy more inventory. And don't forget to set up lines of credit in case you run low on cash. You can go to a bank, or you can go to other fintechs like PayPal Capital, and you can have an additional amount of capital if you needed it. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next video.